Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent. I have the honor of sitting in between Ben's excellent and funny talk and your lunch. So I'll try to keep this short or fast. The goal of my talk is to make you laugh. So if you think it's funny, please laugh. Because I saw that when people laugh, then other people won't mind laughing as well. So please laugh. Well, so this meme is also what I try to do. Just feed you memes and then shove in some security lessons as well. That's just extra bonus. My job is I work at Ordina. I have a background in Java development, but the last 5 to 6 years I'm more and more moving to application development or application security. So my job is a mixture of DevSecOps, engineering, etc. Also, I did include my Mastodon profile name because of this. The Marvel references. Somehow, at least half of Twitter got fired. So I have a pile of memes, which is a little bit sorted into different topics. And what to expect is stuff like this. This is a USB stick made from a COVID test. This is also your first lesson. If you find any USB sticks lying around, don't push them into your laptop without thinking. Could be stuff on there that you don't want. Let's get on to the first topic. Ben did a really nice job of doing the expert dive into. This is the meme version of this. There's an excellent blog post by Troy Hunt, the security journalist and specialist in Australia. You know him from Have I Been Pwned, the website, with lots of fun things to do when someone didn't lock their laptop. So that's what you can do with your colleagues at the office to teach them to lock your laptop. For instance, put nice backgrounds on there and then lock them. But an attacker will probably get to much more interesting goals, like your server room. And Ben did an excellent job of describing how to get there. And thank you for the Easter egg of the human firewall, you call it. For surveillance camera, what I always say to my colleagues is, if you see someone without a badge, just ask them if they're visiting, if they have an appointment with someone, and if you can help them get a visitor badge. Or if they're a colleague, you say, well, I work at this company, I just forgot my pass. Well, let's get you a temporary badge. I wrote in my speaker note, OWASP insecure design with this one, or vulnerable and outdated components, A04 and A06, when your security gate is a ladder, or authentication bypass, or broken access control, or enforced so proactive control 07, enforced access control. This is what you can solve with threat modeling. Where, Grant, I thought you talked about threat modeling in OWASP some. Beginning of this year, there was a new reboot of the movie Scream. And in the trailer, they showed how all of these nice smart locks and smart apps in your smart home are really convenient. A lot of short, funny YouTube videos on what could go wrong. And the movie gives an excellent example of what can go wrong when physical meets digital with smart. As we say, the S in IOC is for security, Internet of Things, or in IoT. We've got examples of insecure security cameras, insecure baby monitoring cameras. So the lesson here is limit your attack surface. OWASP proactive control, implement digital identity, and enforce access control again. that's about physical security. Password security, why is this important? We all saw SolarWinds with the password SolarWinds123. Recently, Uber had leaked credentials, and they had multi-factor authentication, but if you just bomb people with multi-factor authentication requests, there's bound to be someone that just clicks yes to get rid of the notifications. So that happened at Uber. Medibank Private had some stolen credentials that people used to get in, and CRYPTOGRAPHY also had a multi-factor authentication bypass vulnerability. I did have an icon of Xbox on this slide again, also as well, because there is an excellent Darknet Diaries episode, the podcast that I listen to regularly, which is excellent for security awareness for people that don't want to learn security. There's an episode number 45. It's called Xbox Underground, that shows how to what can go wrong when credentials leak out. Yeah, Darknet Diaries. So, fun quiz. The first name of this guy is Forrest. And one of the quotes from the movie with his name is... What?
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah, exactly. One Forrest, one. And why is this a weak password? Because it's predictable. It's easy to predict. So, TLDR, make your password LERP, not LARP, what these guys are doing, live action role-playing. LERP is long, unique, and random passwords. I'll go over each of those one by one, but if you think it's boring, password managers. That's the short version. Long. What I mostly do when I have to think of a new password is I get my password manager out, I say all the options, make it 50, 60 characters long, and then I get this error. Your password is too long. Which is pretty strange because if it's stored correctly, all passwords, whether it's 1 or 1,000 characters long, it's stored in the same length, the size bits that it's hashed to. But make it long. Long is more effective in making a strong password than complexity in general. But long is relative. Why make it unique? If I ask anyone in this room, can I have your password? You probably say no. At least I hope you say no.
That's
but if I
too short password.
Exactly, yeah, good. No is too short of password. Yes. But if I create a really nice website that deals with your favorite hobbies, like movies or cats or whatever, and I ask you to join my website because then you can post on the forum and create an account, blah, 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 blah. Then you say, sure, why not? Because I get free stuff, free website with functionality, etc. on my favorite hobby. And if you use the same password, I just got your password for all your other sites. So this is the multi-million-dollar cyber budget. I think, Ben, we talked about this as well. Having a really fancy cybersecurity, and this is password reuse. He spoke in a little bit different terms, but it's basically the same message. Random. Note that the username is also gibberish. It's an extra layer. It's not the best layer, but it does help a little bit. I don't have anything to ask to this slide. It speaks for itself. Yeah, admin is considered one of the oldest and still current unsolved vulnerabilities. You still encounter it somewhere. So now you probably need to change your password somewhere. This is a nice way of doing this. Come see me, Sean. It's probably the manager. I'm not sure who is the manager is going to reprimand either the people that are requesting a password change or the one that put up this sheet. By the way, is there anyone that works at the Dutch tax office and can tell me if this is still in production, yes or no. Please let me know, because then I hope I can update my slides. This is a list of password rules that you have to adhere to the Dutch medium and small office companies. Up to the end of this year, I think you also have to use it when you want to request your tax deduction on solar panels. But let's go over these. Let's create a password. We have to have one uppercase character. Sure. We have to have at least 4 lowercase characters. Let's make it 5. You probably see where this is going. We have to have at least one number and at least one number or character symbol. Let's get both. And we just got our tax office excellent secure password. By the way, 141 also is good. And as Troy Hunt with his API shows us, it's been leaked almost 84,000 times. So this is the difference between compliancy and security. Password rotation, where you have to change your password each 3 months, because it's not safe to have a password keep a password longer than 3 months. And this happens. You just add the number at the end and increase the number. So choosing a password is apparently pretty hard if you do it in your mind. Fun fact, this graph does not have an exit point. You can think of a password with emoticons, because that's UTF-8 characters. Why would these be special? Jeroen, you said no special characters in the password. Where's Jeroen? For the CTF. This was actually used by someone. He saw that his MacBook allowed for the emoticon keyboard when he was changing his password, but he then logged himself out because the actual login screen didn't have the emoticon keyboard. By the way, does anyone recognize what this is? Frozen? Yeah. It's a song text of Let It Go from the movie Frozen in emoticons. So a lot of people say don't memorize your passwords, which is really hard because I have a few hundred accounts and if all the passwords are unique, I'm not going to remember them. So should you write them down? Because we always say don't write your password on a sheet or on a post-it. But at least don't do it on the bottom of your keyboard. There are actually password notebooks, which is a physical book, kind of like resembles an old telephone number book, where you can write down, you've got different fields, so system or website, URL, username, password, stuff like that. If you have friends and family that are not that techy to use a password manager, please buy them this. In a month there's holidays, Christmas. A book like that is 10, 12 euros, and it's much, much, much more secure than having the same password on each and every site. Do teach them to store their password notebook not next to their computer, maybe in the freezer or some odd place. And teach them something like diceware, where you just roll an actual 6-sided die to generate a password. There are diceware word lists that you can use to select words. To be honest, if you choose 5 words from a list like that, then your password is 5 characters long from a list of almost 8,000 options, which is pretty secure for 100 years. The lesson here is, and again, a Marvel reference, I don't know any of my passwords except for 2. The one to get into my laptop, the one to get into my password manager, that's it. All the others I just copy-paste. And use multi-factor authentication where possible. Yeah, again, the password manager. On to cryptography. Why? Because it's easy. Crypto, in this case, is cryptography and not cryptocurrencies, which is a hot topic, apparently. Also not crypto, base 64, encryption. Encoding is not part of cryptography, right? Is it? What is part of cryptography is hashing, and not all algorithms are created equally. So MD5 is one of the broken algorithms for hashing. It's not that secure. SHA-1 is also vulnerable. SHA-2 depends on the bit size. Actually, Bitcoin uses SHA-256, so 256 bits. That apparently is, for now, strong enough. This is a fun slide because there's one that shouldn't belong here. There's one odd, one out. Can you spot it? Anyone? Which of these four is not? It's actually the Caesar cipher, because it's an encryption algorithm with a key space of 26. So it's not that secure. But hashing is, depending on which scenario you use, which functionality you want to use it, select the right hashing algorithm. You might encounter this with file downloads or installation file downloads, where SHA-2 is often sufficient. I also see a lot of MD5 being used. So it's not really good, but yeah. Also, creating cryptographic algorithms is apparently pretty hard. This guy is Bruce Schneier. You may recognize him. He wrote a few books on cryptography. And he invented Blowfish in 1993, and a few years after that he said, don't use it because it's broken. Movie references, more Star Wars. I hope I don't spoil the plot, but in this movie, a few of the main characters try to steal some data. And what you see here in the lady's hands is a hard drive. It's a pretty big hard drive. You can see it. Its size is big. And what this teaches us is, apparently we've got lasers and hyperspace travel, but we didn't have encryption at rest, because that would spoil the whole movie. And also, if we had like super hyper bit encryption, there's always an easier way. Ben, you talked about just give someone 100,000 to give their credentials, or you could always just threaten someone with a $5 wrench. Because attackers will always choose the easiest way to get into the system. So lessons learned in this topic. Security in crypto is complex. If you're in a development team, use well-vetted crypto and other security-sensitive functionality and components. We try to get someone in each development team as a security champion. And we advise organizations to have a dedicated supporting security team that can answer the difficult questions. Grant, you had a nice slide on what the customer sees and what developers see. What's below the surface. This is my slide, my take on that. So thank you for the heads up for that. The customer's view and the developer's view. And this illustrates why code quality is important. This is what happens when you keep adding features without having priority for maintenance, for quality. It will result in risk and in bugs, which then needs to be fixed. And I like to fix them before they go to production, because otherwise I'm this guy. And I don't want to be this guy. So this meme is again, it's a hot topic again. This was, I think it was created after Heartbleed, which was an OpenSSL bug. We recently encountered another one.
No, this was a module for Log4j.
There was a Log4j module, yes, about a year ago. I remember the date exactly. And it also referenced, this is referencing so many issues, Log4j as well. Log4j, by the way, has a little bit more support than OpenSSL. But there's actually an actual random person in Nebraska maintaining a project. It's called GPSD. It does something with, I think it was GPS and time zones. My slides are going online, and I think OWASP will probably retweet and like it. And this is the speaker notes that you can access with just typing S. And the links for all of the documentation is in there. So the article on GPSD, the actual guy on in Nebraska, to be precise, Omaha, is also in there. There was a project called LeftPad, which some guy in Nebraska, but not Nebraska, was maintaining. He had another project called Kik on NPM. Then there was an instant messaging company that also wanted to create a project in NPM called Kik. So they sent a letter to NPM, the repository, and said, we would like to have that name because we are a company, we have lawyers, can you please give us that name? So NPM, not having access to lawyers, thought, well, okay, this is not good, let's just do that. And the developer, which also maintained LeftPad, pulled all of his projects, including LeftPad, from NPM. Then the internet broke because of LeftPad. Apparently it's used a lot. But we need to accept that not all developers code without bugs. There is a way to code with one bug in your lifetime. But it is not impossible to add new features to legacy code if you maintain it well enough. It doesn't always look pretty, but it's possible, it's stable, it's robust, and it's future-proof. I do have a few more slides. I got plenty of time.
You have time.
I'll just finish early.
Okay, that's
early
fine.
Lunch.
I'll break up for a lunch early.
Machine learning and AI. Is there anyone that works in machine learning and AI?
No.
Yeah, a little bit. What is the most important thing in AI? We talked about it outside a little bit. It's the learning part. It's having the data set to teach AI and machine learning to do its job. And for us, this is easy. For computers, this is apparently it's hard. Getting on the Epic Game Store, I'm getting the most idiotic captchas where I have to click the pictures of the cactus on the desk and not the one hanging from the ceiling. But not all captchas are easy for us humans. So, AI, I'm not scared of the computer passing the Turing test. I'm terrified of the one that actually intentionally fails it. The training data set is very important. There's a few examples of when it goes wrong. A few years ago, Twitter had an algorithm that focused on the important part of the picture, and then people got funny with it and made really wide pictures with a Caucasian person on the left side and a colored person on the right side, and Twitter would focus on the Caucasian person, or with women versus men, football clubs on each side. There's the example of the Dutch tax office that used lots of data in the wrong way to try to focus on groups that were fraud risk or were more at risk of doing fraudulent transactions. So algorithms are only as fair as the people that create. That's the lesson. Got a few bonus memes. This was actually used in, I think, the OHM 2013. Got here to activate FIREWALL. And in case of cyber attack, break the glass and pull plugs. There was actually a ransomware attack in November last year on Media Market, a big electronics shop, and they actually told everyone in the store pull all the plugs from ATMs and POS systems to prevent the ransomware from spreading. That's my talk. I hope you liked it. If there are any questions, feel free. But yeah, this is just lighthearted. Main thing that I want to teach you and show you is you don't have to always use fear, uncertainty, and doubt to teach security. It's also very fun to use the light side of it. Thank you.